then drop them drawers. I know what you want. I ask myself, is this shit real? I contemplate about how I feel.
Loving yourself is really accepting yourself and knowing who you are. So loving yourself, I think a lot of people kind of put that, or tie that in with self-worth. And when we truly love ourselves, we feel worthy enough. And that's what I think a lot of us associate the term self-love with. And it's like feeling good enough, feeling like you are the shit, pretty much. Now, I've got certain things I want to talk about with loving yourself. And there's so many ways of really defining what self-love is. So I've just got a couple of things that I want to talk about and what I think self-love is from my own experience. There's literally so many ways, but this is how I've just decided to talk about this topic. Self-love is truly accepting who you are, and coming with acceptance is forgiving yourself. So forgiving yourself for all the mistakes that you've made, forgiving yourself for the choices that you made in your past. It's for forgiving yourself for how you felt towards yourself. So like if you've put yourself down, it's forgiving yourself for even putting yourself down, for putting hate towards yourself. It's forgiving everything that you have done in the past, and it's just all of that. This also comes with accepting who you are. So loving yourself is also accepting who you are, accepting your uniqueness, your weirdness, your ability to be different. It's accepting all that you are right now. And knowing your worth, loving yourself and really knowing your self-worth is knowing that you are good enough right now as you are. You don't need to seek out anything outside of you to define your worth. You are worthy enough right now. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to work harder. You don't need to work longer hours. You don't need to be doing more. Your worth isn't dictated by anything that you do. It's just not the case at all. You are enough because you are enough, not when you do these certain things. And I think we get that mixed up a lot. We've been taught in society that we have to work hard to gain certain things, whether it's respect, validation, money, like love, whatever it is. And it's not the case. It's so backwards. You are enough when you know you are enough. To know you are enough is to know that you have everything you need. You are everything right now. Right here, right now, as you are. When you can accept that this is who you are perfect right now, you stop seeking outside of you. You stop doing these things to validate yourself, to make yourself feel worthy, feel good enough, to feel like you can accept more money, whatever it is. So don't forget that. You are enough when you know you're enough. Knowing your worth is just knowing that you're worthy right now. I think it took me so long. Obviously, I am still learning this, but it took me a long time to really fully comprehend that. It gets to a point where we do so much externally because we feel like we have to. We feel like we have to always be doing something to seek or to receive that like missing thing inside of us. It gets to a point where we just can't do it anymore. It's like we're not receiving that. The more we try, the less we feel like that. So stop it right now. Drop everything and just close your eyes and hand on heart and feel what you have been seeking so desperately to feel. You can feel it right now. Okay? So loving yourself is also setting boundaries. When you start to really feel like you want to love yourself and feel worthy enough, and you will learn that boundaries is very important. Because as much as we can feel grounded and feel good in ourselves, there's always going to be lessons, as I like to call them. And I should say, outside experiences that are going to test us. These are the lessons. People are always going to have something to say to you. The more you shine your light, the more that you're confident and comfortable in yourself, and the more that you love yourself, it's going to, I should say, project this light onto people, onto their shadow, that it's going to show up like their insecurities and kind of remind them. You're going to remind people that they're not doing it, that they're not loving themselves. And when people are so exposed, they project. And if it's one thing that I've experienced that's been quite difficult, it has been this. Like the more I feel comfortable and confident in who I am, the more people have negative things to say about me. And I'm hoping that this will one day maybe get them to realize, hopefully, that they can just be as confident as well. And I hope that reminds them that they should do the work too, right? That they should love themselves as well. Everything is a mirror. The more that you reflect outwards your internal state, then you're reflecting that onto someone else. Everyone is a mirror and reflecting back at you pretty much everything, all the shit that you need to deal with, pretty much. So setting boundaries is a big form of self-love. When you can confidently tell people no. Not even confidently, but when you can just have that ability to be able to know that you know that feels wrong, and you can say, no, I'm not doing that. Or to be able to express how you feel to someone, even if it's like your loved one, in spite that they may be offended, but it's what you need to do for you. My mum had a conversation with me. I'm living in a caravan. She's like, I'm going to have to sell it. And I said, that's fine. I'll move. It's no biggie. She came back to me like a couple hours later and she was crying. She said, I can't do it. I told you I'd give you a year and I'm sticking to my promise. And, you know, I'm not going to put you in that position. And I said, Mum, you need to do what's right for you. She needs the money, so she needs to sell it. And I said, you need to do you. You need to put yourself first. And by doing you and by doing what's best for you, if that means that I have to move, then I have to move. And she said, no, I can't do that to you. And I said, Mum, stop putting other people before you and listen to what's right for you and what you need to do for you. And it was like a lot of back and forth. I said, if I was in your position, I would do what's best for me, and I'd have that exact conversation and even though it may feel shitty, but I would be strong and firm in that and go, well, this is what I need for me. I need the money. If I'm going to buy something or whatever, she doesn't even need to give me a reason. That's what I need to do. And if I truly if I respected her enough, I would understand. She's my mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a personal attack. I don't blame her for it. Fair enough. It's fine. I look at it as the universe just telling me it's time to go somewhere else. I'm happy with that. everything's going to sort itself out. But if you're someone who's a people pleaser, you've always put other people before yourself, your natural response is to always think about their well-being over your own, which means sacrificing your happiness. And that's honestly the wrong way to go. So by practicing setting boundaries, in my Instagram, one of my Instagram posts, I have 5 ways to setting boundaries. It's a step-by-step. It's really good. Go look at it. But when you can get really confident with setting boundaries, you have this like deep respect for yourself, because you're honoring what you need above anyone else, even if it may put them in a tough situation or may hurt them. But if you know it's right for your heart and it's in your best interest without doing anything malicious, because we don't want that, then that's what you need to do. So setting boundaries is going to help you reaffirm your respect, your value, and your worth within yourself. That's going to help uplift your confidence within yourself. It's going to boost it a lot. Trust me, it really does. Because after you do something that scares you, like if you're someone that just cannot say no and you actually build up the courage to say no, it feels really good after, because you're honoring yourself, and like it's just like your heart's like, your soul, and you're just like, wow, like I really do respect that. And this comes with reaffirming to yourself, or I should say reminding yourself, that you come before anyone else. I hate when people tell me, and I guess this is society, we've been taught to think like this, to think of other people before our own. So like, oh, we're being too loud, we need to respect and be quiet so that we don't disrupt other people or we don't affect other people, blah, blah, blah. We've been taught that our whole life. It's very selfish to think about other people before ourselves. It actually is so fucking selfish. When we could think about ourselves, that's selfless. Because we shouldn't be thinking about anyone else. And when I say this, I don't mean like being an asshole, being malicious, being rude. No, I'm saying from a level of respect. It's like we must always think about ourselves and put ourselves above anyone else. In that respect, do it with respect, blah, 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 okay? So setting boundaries is a form of self-love. The last thing that I had is committing to, like I said, there's so many ways of doing this, but I'm just kind of making it as short and sweet as possible. So the last bit that I had is committing to yourself. I want you to ask yourself, how many times a day do you commit to yourself? Do you even commit to yourself? I know before I did any of this self-journey, spiritual journey, personal development stuff, I did not put myself first. I didn't commit to myself. I didn't do anything. Now, commitment can show up in a lot of ways. First way could be like working out. You're committed to working out. How often do we work out for the first couple of days and give up? We're not committing to ourselves. Committing to ourselves is doing what we need to do above all. It could even be just putting 10 minutes aside for our own time, our own whatever we need, especially if you have family and kids. It can be quite crazy. And what I think, I can't talk on behalf of mums because I'm not a mother myself, but this is from what my mum has told me her whole life pretty much, is that when she had kids, her whole life was dedicated to her kids. So which means she put her priority last. To be honest, whether I have kids or not, I don't want to be like that. I understand you got to feed this child. This child is dependent on you. I get that. But at what point do you sacrifice your happiness for this person, for another person? That's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to have kids, because to be honest, I want to make sure that I'm happy and that I fulfill my own cup. But like, I don't know, maybe we'll revisit that down the track if or when I have a partner. But committing to yourself is like literally being able to always prioritize yourself. So even if you were a mum and you had kids, it's just like putting time aside for your own happiness. So whether that be, you wanting to start a business or you just needing some quiet time, or wanting to go for a walk or wanting to write a book, whatever it is, it's committing to yourself every single day by doing what you need to do or what you want to do that makes you happy, that fills up your soul, that fills up your own cup. Committing to yourself is going to help you trust yourself more, because like I said, when you're saying you're committed to starting to work out and you work out for the first couple of days and then you give up, it's like you already broke that trust with yourself. Your mind, like you would have already like gone in there and gone, I'm going to commit to go to working out, getting fit and healthy, blah blah blah, but deep down I already know that's not going to happen. So we go into these type of situations already predicting what's going to happen, and it's because we don't have that trust within ourselves, and because we don't want to commit, we don't want to put in the effort, because we don't feel like we're good enough, or we don't feel like the time and energy is really worth it. Now this is also programming, like we're programmed and conditioned to not put ourselves first or to do things that we want to do. It's like society has taught us the complete opposite. So for you to be able to commit to yourself, commit to your happiness, it's like discipline. You've got to discipline yourself. But the most important thing, you've got to want to do it for yourself, if that makes sense. Oh my God, like there's really like loud thunderstorms and it's vibrating the floor. So if you hear it, I apologize. So I hope commitment, I hope that I really do hope this lands with you, because I think the biggest thing that we don't do is we don't commit to ourselves. We make excuses. It also feels uncomfortable for us to want to commit to ourselves because we've never really done it before. It's like what? We want to put ourselves first. We say no to hanging out with friends because I want to meditate or something. You know, we just don't do it. And when I started setting boundaries and I started putting myself first, because I really wanted to love and respect myself, because being in a relationship, I can tell you right now, all of that goes out the window. Your priorities are, especially if you're a people pleaser, your main focus is on your partner. And this is codependency. This is where it's like so wrong for me, in my personal opinion. I feel like for us to truly love ourselves, it's a lot easier when we are not in a relationship. I mean, you can do it if you're in a relationship. I feel like it's just going to be a lot harder. I ended my 5-year relationship for that reason, because I was very unhappy. I was lost. I had no self-worth. I had no confidence. I didn't feel good enough. I was so confused, thinking, what the fuck am I doing in my life? And I knew this inkling, this little voice inside of me said that I'm not going to be able to get to where I want to be, or to find those answers and to do the work that I need to do if I was in the relationship. I don't know what it was. I just felt like I just needed to end it. And there was no reason for us to end it. We weren't really, well, now that I look at it, it's funny. At the time, I was like, we had the perfect relationship. I even kept saying that, like, up until a couple of years ago. And then I realized it actually wasn't. I was the one that was, like, putting all of my needs aside for to make the relationship work. I conformed. There was so many things that, that happened within the relationship that I didn't even realize. I just settled because I wanted to make her happy. So when you can love yourself, I just think that it's better to do it by yourself, because when we're relying on other people to make us happy and to validate us and all that stuff, then we kind of distract ourselves from doing the work. We think that that's how we're truly going to love ourselves. I feel like when you're alone, and during COVID, I think a lot of people experience this, like you don't have anyone around you. You kind of are forced into doing the work. And I definitely felt that during COVID, when I was living by myself, because I'd moved in with my dad. This was after a 5-year relationship. I moved in with my dad, and he moved in with his girlfriend. Sorry if you can hear the rain. It might be really loud. He moved in with his girlfriend during COVID because you couldn't travel. So he decided that he was going to isolate with her. And then I had this big ass house by myself. So I'm going to end it here because the rain is really loud. But I hope this helps you really want to do the work with loving yourself and finding that within yourself. And if you want personalized help, I do have one-on-one coaching available that can definitely help navigate and use and the tools that you need to be able to do that. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.